Hey everyone, Steve Fitziller here. As as everybody's been doing, watching the information about the LA fires coming out, um, I watched a press conference last week. Kind of surprised me, but anyway, I've been involved in. I used to work uh, in emergency disaster preparedness arena, where you put plans in place to create calmness in a chaotic environment, where you reach out to resources to see what you have. And this is before you have a major tragedy or a massive event: earthquakes, flooding, snow, fires, all that stuff. The reason is because you have to have people that understand how to operate, what the goal and mission, what you're trying to accomplish, and then ensuring that you have deployed assets around a state to ensure that when things like this happen, the resources are already there. It isn't a matter of figuring it out. It's there, and because you've practiced how to overcome these disasters, if you will, you have leaderships, local leaderships, state level leaderships, and they're all kind of working as a team to bring together the calmness of for the average person to be able to live their life and not worry about what's going on. If they're impacted negatively, there was always a way to support them to make sure that they were healthy, safe, good to go, and there was always a plan in place to alleviate something. So, like, you look at the fires. First of all, I can tell you, watching that press conference last week for the first time, fire chief was there, LA mayor was there. It just, oh my God, it was embarrassing. The superintendent of schools was there. Um, it was embarrassing on a scale I've never seen before. The communication, great to have verbiage that sounds great. The issue is the performance piece that impact people is off the scale, just disastrous. How do you run a disaster knowing that millions of dollars in homes have already gone up in smoke? How do you operate in a disaster knowing that you've already have hundreds of thousands of people displaced? You drive down the street of a neighborhood, and every home is practically burned to the ground. And then you have a press conference, and you go over what's happened. Well, the news flash on that one is people already know what's going on. What I found abysmal was firemen and women at a location, and the hydrants are empty. I mean, the city officials knew that. If they didn't know that, why didn't they know that? So rebuilding this, I would say this: I have high expectations for leadership. I have high expectations for being prepared. I have a high standard for ensuring that people are taken care of, because I ask tough questions way before we get there. The issue for me is this: they already knew about these conditions way, way before. These conditions have been around for decades. It isn't like all of a sudden the Santa Ana winds popped up one day and surprised the hell out of everybody. They've already been there. I've lived in Southern California. They've already been there. They already know that's going to happen. So what it really comes down to is this: lack of a leader understanding and ensuring that these prepared plans are in place, that practice has been done to ensure continuity of communication has been taken care of, so that when they go to a press conference, they're way ahead of the game. California's leadership right now is so far behind the curve, it's ridiculous. Listen to Gavin Newsom talk about his plans on what they're trying to do and all the dude. You're like 3 or 4 years late to this conversation. I heard on Stephen A. Smith the other day watching a show on him on this when he was interviewing his buddy Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight, I believe, talking about these messages that Trump was trying to get water from Canada down to Southern California. I thought that was interesting that Gavin didn't do that. I mean, is he stupid? I mean, he has to be stupid. Now the question comes down to is the citizens of California, are you going to keep putting up with this crap? Are you really going to allow this guy, and he probably will do this, act like a hero? If he's got high aspirations to be a political, let's say a president or whatever down the road, this is his chance to look good. But the problem is he created this shit. He created this. Mayor Bass, what the hell are you going to Uganda for? Or Ghana, where the hell you went. And then you come back and you're interviewed on the terminal coming back into LA and you're being asked some pretty pointed questions that are pretty basic, really. Nothing hard to answer. And you can't even answer them? I mean, LA, what the hell is going on with how you vote for people? Do you guys not have standards of leadership? The fire chiefs, all of them. There's 3 women that are fire chiefs down there. Maybe not all, maybe 2 of them. One's a fire chief, one's an assistant deputy. The other one, I believe, is leading the Department of Water, I guess. I've read some articles on, I've read some stuff on her, and I've watched some videos on her. Her aspiration for even applying for the job was because of the social equity piece of it, where that was attractive to her because she was entitled to some job because she's a minority. Well, if your fire chief and your deputy fire chief and your Department of Water leadership are all there because of social justice, what does that say about the quality of performance they have when clearly they haven't performed their job? And now they're all looking at each other like, I'm not taking the blame for this. So they point the finger at each other because they know they want to not take responsibility. I tell you what would be nice is that Gavin Newsom, along with Mayor Bass, would come up and any other mayor that's involved and just say, look, we screwed up. We let everybody down, and this is what we're going to do to fix it. There hasn't been any of that. They all keep talking about saving houses. Dude, the houses are burned down. They talk about, life, health, and safety. You're a little late. That's already gone. If I had a multi-million-dollar house in California, or if I had if I lived in California down in LA, which I don't live in California, thank God, because by right now I would have left California. I have high expectations for my leadership, and Gavin doesn't have any leadership experience, period. He's a guy, I refer to this as Gavin Newsom. This is Gavin Newsom in a nutshell. He's a shiny red truck with no engine in it. The guy looks good. He's got the part played down. He talks a good game. But dude, when you peel back the onion, there is nothing there. Nothing. He's incompetent. He's just not a good leader. And when you point out stuff, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he just fucking talks. It kills me to listen to this guy talk. That's why I don't listen to him, because he's just full of crap. He sounds great. Oh my God, they're going to do all these wonderful things. Where the hell have you been since you've been the governor? I mean, are you telling me you haven't done anything until now? So, get off my soapbox on Governor Newsom, because he's not a very good dude, man. He's terrible. If he ever became president of the United States, I think there should be a massive self-check in the mirror of what we expect from our presidents. So getting back to the fires. These fires should never have gone the way they have. You're not going to prevent a fire to the point, but you can mitigate it. And these emergency disaster preparedness plans and these things that these events that they run to prepare for how to conduct themselves, they're just that. They prepare you for the event, so when the event happens, you know what you're doing and things are ready to go. The fact that these fires happened and the level of devastation, the political leadership doesn't give a damn about the citizens. I mean, I'm hearing from other shows that, and reading, in fact, that governor, that the state of California has what, an $800 billion. Am I correct on that? $800 million budget for fire, and they've gotten over $200 billion in tax revenue, probably from the federal and the state. And this is what the money goes to. I'll get my facts later. I just remember hearing that there was, either way, there's billions of dollars being poured into California, and this is the result of that. So that's wasteful management, dollar-wise. So in conclusion, I didn't want to put a video out because I hate doing these things, but man, my heart, I've studied leadership for well over 20 years. I've been in leadership positions for over 15. I understand the expectation. This is kind of the deal for me. You look at Gov Newsom, you look at the leadership down in LA, and the first thing you ask yourself is, shouldn't have happened. They say, well, you can't prevent the winds. No, but you can mitigate the winds. You can mitigate the entire disaster. You could have ensured there was water there. Why doesn't the fire chief, I'm baffled by this, she doesn't know until the day she finds out there's no water to the fire hydrants. Really? Why not do an exercise? Do they not do a function check on these things, knowing that there's massive fires in California? Do they not make sure that the reservoirs are full of water? I mean, they have meetings all the time. What are these guys discussing? That's why I'm saying it's a failure on leadership on every level. And these press conferences only prove that they don't have a clue what they're doing. If you're one whose house was burned down, the last thing you want to hear is the bullshit coming out of their mouth. You want to hear, how are they going to help you? So then he talks about red tape. We're going to allow these folks to rebuild and just disregard the red tape. So if you can disregard the red tape now, why couldn't you have disregarded it before? So in my world, it's all about people. It's all about taking care of people. It's all about getting ahead. In any function of disaster mitigation, it's about understanding, okay, how do we mitigate this to avoid a major problem? And you work through it with county officials, city officials, the state government officials. You work through all that, understanding what you need. Talk about FEMA. FEMA's got a role in this too, or at least they had a role, but they have programs that you can study to understand how different things are operating. But I can tell you, just from looking at it, I haven't been to California for decades, and I don't have a plan on going to California to live down there. I can't stand the leadership. I really can't. It's all about them, and the people just suffer. Anyway, the citizens of California deserve better. There's no doubt. They deserve much, much better. And when it comes down to investing, I would never invest in California just because the leadership doesn't care about people. They don't care about people. If they did care about people, we wouldn't be hearing this massive problem with fires everywhere. Can you prevent the Santa Ana winds? No. But they knew about those winds. They've known about them for decades. They happen every year. May not be as fast as they are, but they have heard about them. So my 2 cents is this. The people of California need to expect more from their leadership than they're getting. And when it's a one-party state with full power and they can do whatever the hell they want, that's where you have a problem. There needs to be a check and balance in there to say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. Instead, you're getting railroaded. So in one way, I would say the citizens of California have got what they have deserved. Because if you're a hardcore left liberal and you simply don't give a shit about these other things except for your social injustices, then don't complain when your house gets burned down by a fire that you know is going to happen at some point in time. I mean, somebody there knew this was going to happen. We're going to have a major fire problem down the road if we don't get these things in place. Somebody knew. If the fire chief is correct that she's been stamping her foot down, telling her about the mayor about this and it's being ignored, then the mayor's responsible. Period. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. This stuff irritates the hell out of me because there's no reason to have $1 million homes burning up in a fire because the leadership there, derelict in duty, irresponsible, getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do absolutely no mitigation whatsoever. And the only thing they can tell you is that the only reason why they apply to the job is because of social justice, and they're entitled to do that job because they're a minority. Doesn't matter if they're qualified or bring merit to the table, but they're entitled to the job. Okay, if you're making $750,000 and you're in charge of the water, it can't just be about entitlement. It's got to be, man, I got to make sure that the resources that need our water are there. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to put some more videos out down the road as we get more consistent. I'm trying to figure out how to turn my channel into something more productive. I like giving out mentoring ideas and things for life and success and people struggling, but not everybody's struggling, so it's kind of figure out how we deal with that with finances. I'm putting some things together to make sense in my mind how I want to portray this channel. I love this channel. I love being able to communicate ideas and things out, but this fire thing really is, it's beyond anything that I can understand that makes sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that leadership would fail that bad, and there's this many people that are hundreds of thousands of people are impacted by this. They don't have a choice, and now they're about to live in a tent city with the idea that Gavin's going to make the world better in a year or two. You know, if I were you, if your house burned down right now and you had to start over, dude, leave California. Just get the hell out of there. I mean, if you have to start over anyway, why not start over somewhere where your politics isn't going to hold you back from enjoying life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? I mean, that's what it's about. And California is anti-American across the board on any level. It's just ridiculous. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Leave comments. If you disagree, that's fine. You have a right to do that. I just think this is just absurd on every level, and I'm in shock that this is our country in action. Thanks for watching.